Where are you from?
I am from South Jersey, in like the Clementon, Pine Hill-ish area. We moved around a few times, so that kind of changed.
And how was it growing up in the Clementon, Pine Hill area?
For me, it was pretty boring. Like, I didn't really do much. I'm a child of 4, so a lot of times I spent most times with my siblings. And like I said, we moved around so much that sometimes, like, by the time you kind of get comfortable, it was kind of like, oh, we're going somewhere else. Even though it was all in the same, like, area, it was still just a difference of just having to pick up and, go somewhere else. But like I said, I didn't do much. I was like the good kid. Like, I sat at home and I cooked and I tried to bake and stuff like that. So
Okay, so as we know, everyone has a story. Tell us your story about something you went through that most people don't know about.
So like I said, like previously, like we moved around a lot, like throughout middle school and high school and stuff like that. And I feel like that continued even still going into like high school. Cause like I said, like we weren't poor, but we weren't rich. So it was just kind of a thing of matter of where we would get settled and where, could be. My mom was single, raising 4 kids. So like in high school, my first day in my senior year, I get home that day and we got to move. Like it's like one of those we got to be out situations because, we're getting put out of where we were on my first day of my senior year. And it's like dang, like, it's my last year, we're finally getting through. Luckily, though, I did go to the school I went to. I was able to be anywhere and still be able to go there. So it didn't affect me being there, but just the fact that, like, even just going through that, like, we didn't have anywhere to go. So, like, the first day of my senior year, now me and all my siblings are basically being split up and doing what we got to do. Like, it just was what it was. Like, we can't think too much about it. We literally got to pack everything that we have on, like, that day, which was kind of hard going through at that time just because it's like, I'm finally starting the last year of my high school career and everything that I knew with my family is like, it's going to be split up for the couple of months until, we get back together and got to do what we got to do. So, I mean, we made it work, but like it was hard and not most people wouldn't have known because it's not like I'm going to go to school and tell everybody my business or anything, but it was definitely like something that was hard to go through, especially then. So.
How did that affect you in school?
Honestly, I don't think I try to let it affect me too much. Like in school, like a lot of times I feel like I try to keep my school and home just like separate. I was so involved in school activities and stuff like that. My senior year, I played basketball, I ran cross country. I started track, but I later injured my foot, so I couldn't do that. But I was working and everything at the time. So I just kind of had to keep myself busy despite what was going on at home. What I say I didn't think about it, I can't say that, but I kept myself busy enough to make sure I kept my grades up because my grades didn't really slip. Like I was fortunate enough to be able to do what I had to do even during that time. So.
Did high school help you or hurt you as far as preparing to go out into the world?
I feel like it didn't really prepare me. Not like I thought it should have. Like even going to college, like talking to other students about like what their high school did and how it prepared them. And I was like kind of looking back at my high school career like, oh, well, they didn't really. I'm like, I didn't get past writing a five paragraph essay, and I went to college having to write 5 pages in a night. And I'm like, dang, like it was nowhere near this. I talked to someone else, and they're like, their school made them do an internship before they even got to college. And I was like, well, dang, like I didn't even think about that during college. But their high school, I didn't think about that during high school, but their high school made them do it just to kind of get that experience to get them out there. And I'm like, I feel like the teachers there, most of them didn't really like push students. They just wanted to get them out. That's how I felt. Like it was just kind of, they just did what they had to do. They were just following the curriculum, following the guide. And most teachers I can say there, that was what they did. So by the time I got to college, like it was low-key a rude awakening for me a little bit. Like I wasn't prepared for that. Like I learned to be able to do it on my own, but I wasn't fully aware. And I can say that as far as like whether it was schoolwork, just the environment, and just like socially, just everything. Like it was way different. And you would have thought it was going to be like high school was preparing you, because most teachers be like, yeah, this is what you have to do in college. When you go to college this, when you go to college that. But when I went to college, it felt like nothing like what they said it was going to be.
So what, in your opinion, like, do you have any suggestions on what high schools can do, like, or just any ideas on like what high schools can do, as far as activities or things to add into the curriculum to better prepare students for college?
I think there's like multiple things I feel like they could do. I feel like most schools need like a built-in class just for life lessons. Okay, like I don't know how else to even say that, just because it's mainly like, even as far as finance, I think I don't even know what it was called in high school, but we had a I don't want to say it's financial literacy. It was something we had to take for like one semester. But like, even if they tell students how to work with their credit, and like just like actual life things, and like actual financing kind of things, like even things that like you don't even think about in college. Because I know like a lot of students I went to college with, like most of them, like for me, I feel like I didn't even know how to fill out a college application at one point in time. Like, and maybe they need to have a class on that. Like, you know what I mean? You're supposed to be preparing students to go to college, and some of them don't even know how to fill out a college application or what to do with financial aid. And a lot of students end up being like first generation students, so their parents don't know how to do it. So I think a lot of teachers too expect, or guidance counselors expect, for kids to ask for help, but I think certain kids just don't even know how to ask. Like, it's not how they're built. That's not their home life. So just putting into perspective that a lot of some of these kids don't have the tools that they need at home. So, and they don't even know how to ask for it once they get to in a school setting. So just kind of being more mindful of like, what are things that you're actually going to need for the future, college or beyond, because not even every student in high school goes to college. So I don't even mean just for college, because you have to realize too that that's not everybody's path, that I'm going to prepare you no matter where you're going. Like, whether it's, some students need a little bit more guidance of how to manage your credit. Like, a lot of things I know about credit now, I feel like maybe I could have learned that in school. Like, school, I feel like, doesn't really teach you life things. They teach you things that you'll never really need later in life, to be very, very honest. Like, so I think maybe just have a little bit more thought to what students really need in life. Like, and I'm not saying to forget like English, math, science, and all those kind of things. They help, I think, students find a direction, maybe to know what field they want to go in, but it doesn't really prepare them for life, so.
If you could send a message to that teacher that never understood you, what would you say to them to make them understand someone like you?
I feel like in high school, I was blessed enough to have a teacher that I felt like I could relate to or talk to. So like, I ex-nay all the other teachers, no offense. Like, I didn't get as close. There was a few other teachers that I thought that were cool, and I thought they were nice, but I didn't have a lot of teachers that looked like me, I should say. So I didn't even feel comfortable enough to even talk to some of them, because how could you even relate to something that I'm going through, or I can't expect you to understand. So I think that was a big thing. And that honestly was for me throughout high school and college. Like, it's very rare that I've seen teachers that look like me, that could understand what it's like being Black, and then being a Black woman. Like, I opened up a professor's eyes in one of my college classes in English. Like, I wrote an essay on like a Black woman and how they're percepted. You know what I mean? And she read it and she was like, I never even knew like that this was a thing. I'm like, if you search on Google, like if I wanted to look up a hairstyle, for instance, I'm like, I have to put Black in front of it, the Black woman, instead of just putting in a hairstyle where a whole bunch of white women are going to be populated. And she didn't even realize that was even the thing, because she wasn't me. She didn't look like me. So it's not even just in that question, I feel like it's not even a thing for me of like, what can I tell that teacher that didn't understand me? most of them didn't even look like me. I can't even expect you to understand because you don't know what it's like to be a Black woman. You don't know our culture. But the most I can say is to teachers who don't look like me is to educate yourself. So you may be able to help students that don't look like you better. Like, you know what I mean? Because everybody's not going through or weren't raised like you, and their culture is different. So this is going out to multiple teachers and not just a specific one. I feel like teachers, sometimes they get educated in books, but they don't get educated in other parts of life to be able to help a lot of students. So I think that would be my thing, like just overall.
How would you like to be remembered?
I don't know. I feel like I'm still trying to like kind of figure that out. Like, I think now I'm 2 years out of college now. And I feel like for me, I'm still kind of just like trying to figure that out. I feel like I went to college and I feel like I learned a lot. Don't get me wrong. But in the ways I feel like I learned what I don't want to do and not quite yet what I do want to do and how I want to be remembered. But if anything, I just want to be remembered as a person like that just kind of did what she had to do and said what she had to say, and just kind of, I don't want to ever feel like I left anything to, I don't want to say to chance, but like I did everything that I kind of wanted to accomplish, or in somewhat way, like, you know what I mean, that I kind of kept going until I didn't stop. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I was that person to give up, or I just became complacent and just comfortable in a world that I feel like it's forever changing. So just that I didn't like give up in the simplest way for now.
So what are you doing now? Like what's your life like now that you graduated high school, you graduated college? What are you doing now?
Well, right now I'm an assistant buyer. I work for the company Burlington. So right now I'm from home. I'm working from home. So I mean, just, you know, doing the buying situation from home. I do go in the office sometimes. I just went in market, which is like going to New York to meet with vendors for the first time. And yeah, that's kind of pretty much been like my year. I did an internship earlier this year at a place called Buddha Babe for the first part of the year, and then I started with Burlington in February.
Okay, so like as a buyer, like when you say buyer, explain that just a little bit. Like what type of merchandise do you deal with as a buyer?
Well, I'm an assistant on the girls' toys team, so I help like buy like dolls and stuff like that. Basically, just the idea of the assistant buyer, we just help buy merchandise from vendors to put into stores.
Okay, all right, perfect. So, where can people follow you in your journey?
I'm most active on Instagram, so I guess that would be the best option. On Instagram, it's Alygal, like ALYGYAL. Yeah, and like just like that. And because my other social medias I'm on, but not really too much active, so Instagram would be the best way to, if you wanted to follow me and see what's going on in my life.